Hello lovely people out there in WhatCulture land, and welcome to the third Ups and Downs in a row. And that means if you haven't gone back in time and checked it out, you've got to. Otherwise, you're not going to understand the trilogy. So you've got to watch NXT Ups and Downs. You've got to watch Survivor Series Ups and Downs. And now, of course, here we are to up those downs for Raw. So sit down, grab yourself a warm drink and maybe a lovely snack. Let's up those downs. I'm not sure what I wanted from the start of Raw this week, but it certainly did feel like I'd stepped into a DeLorean and gone back in time. Down. Obviously it was Baron Corbin and Stephanie McMahon bragging that Raw had done the clean sweep last night at Survivor Series, even though they hadn't, because on the pre-show, SmackDown had won, #make the pre-show important again. Baron was also waiting around for Stephanie to say, "Oh Baron, well done, you did everything I asked of you, so now you're the permanent general manager." But classic Stephanie, she just kind of stalled for a while. Never found out exactly where she was going to go with this because Braun Strowman interrupted, I presume, to get these hands. I mean, what else does he do these days? He's probably walking around backstage going, "Oh, get these hands." And I bet the other wrestlers like, "Braun, just shut up, shut up. You say it too much. And also, when you think about it, it doesn't make any sense." Anyway, as it turned out, Stephanie McMahon was a big liar prior to Survivor Series because now all the stipulations are in place. Braun Strowman will take on Baron Corbin at the TLC pay-per-view, and if Braun Strowman wins, he can have his title match against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, or if Baron Corbin wins, he will become the general manager of Raw permanently. The Constable also needs to pick up the W here because if he takes a loss, he's no longer going to have any power at all. And Braun Strowman, of course, was picking the stipulations here. And that was one of the dumbest things I've seen on wrestling TV for ages because Strowman got really excited. He goes, "I'm going to pick the tables, ladders and chairs match." Of course you are, Braun. It's at the TLC pay-per-view. What are you talking about? At one point, Strowman even introduced us to Monday Night Braun. I'm not kidding you. That made me want to rip my own teeth out. It sounded so forced. And then we segued into a six-man tag team match, and it was Braun Strowman. And he was teaming up with Finn Balor and Elias, and he was going against Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and of course, given that he was already in the ring, Baron Corbin. Clearly, WWE was still a little bit obsessed with Survivor Series 24 hours on, because it turned out this was an elimination match. You know what? Wasn't half bad. No. Elias did his shtick, which is always comforting because it just makes you feel like you're in a good place. And the first story we saw in this match was Finn Balor trying to get his revenge against Drew McIntyre. And for a while, he was on top of things. Braun Strowman even slammed the man into the Scotsman. But of course, Drew's our new guy. He's on the way to the top. So he Claymore kicked the demon. Bye-bye to Finn. Elias was next to go after Bobby Lashley speared the crap out of him on the outside. And honestly, WWE, you need to do more stuff like this with Bobby Lashley. So, more cool things like Goldberg and less of his ass like Billy Gunn. But yeah, Elias got counted out. Now we're down to 3-1. Madness descended then because Drew McIntyre went and lost his temper. Braun Strowman did have Baron Corbin beat. He give him the running power slam. But Drew was like, "Nah, I ain't losing like this. I'm Drew McIntyre, the new big thing in WWE. So he got a steel chair. He laid waste to Strowman. Of course, that got him DQ'd. But the match was basically called off at this point because all the heels started to lay waste to the babyface. They focused on the monster's elbow, which actually did start to bleed, and later on we were told that Braun had to go to a local medical facility. And my only worry here is that this is the exact same story we did a few weeks ago. 3 dudes try and take out Braun Strowman. But hey, I guess it does put Braun in a sympathetic place, which is what he needs. And also, if you're interested, this was the first hour of Raw, pretty much. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins had their first segment of the night, and this one, getting up. Rollins came out and fair play to the man. I thought he delivered this promo with a lot of intensity and a lot of emotion. He also worked in the Dean Ambrose documentary, which is now on the network. Directly referenced that by saying he had no idea that Dean almost died in the hospital. And you want to know why he didn't know? Because Dean had never picked up the phone when Seth had tried to call. And to be fair, Rollins, there are other means of communication. You could have WhatsApped him, you could have texted him, you could have emailed him, you could have sent him a carrier pigeon. Also with WhatsApp, when they've read your message, it gets that little blue, the double blue tick. At least then you would go, okay, he's got my message. And that's what important. To be honest, Seth, I don't really think you tried hard enough. Eventually, Ambrose appeared on the big screen, revealing himself to be in the arena, but said he ain't going to come down to the ring because he knows what Seth Rollins wants to do with him. And that's where things got a little bit uncomfortable because he made a reference to Roman Reigns saying he's going to have to pay for everything he did in the Shield. And I didn't like it to the point, I'm not even going to repeat it here, it's out there. You can go and listen to it with your own ears. And once again, like I've said before, if Roman Reigns is cool with this, that's okay. It's not for me to judge, but as a viewer, I could have done without it. Rollins went in hunt of Dean eventually because he was so mad, but instead ran into some security guards, and he even had a fight with one because he was so wound up. Also, I don't know who that security guard was, but he essentially did this. I am a security guard. Do not talk to me, Seth, like that. I will beat you up. He sounded like a robot. Another Lars Sullivan promo package was next, but we don't know if he's going to Raw or if he's going to SmackDown. I guess we know later, because if they don't air a promo package on SmackDown, you've got to assume he's going to Raw. But make sure that you guess in the comments, and the winner will pick a winner at random. They get to become a WWE writer for a day. It's not true. I've made that up. That is an absolute lie. But feel free to discuss it down there. Sasha Banks and Bayley then lost to the team of Tamina and Nia Jax. Am I the only person that doesn't understand this? Down. Nothing special here. Alexa Bliss was on commentary and let us know that her and Nia were now cool. That's good to know. I'm glad I invested all my time in that story a few months ago, and eventually Jax hit the Samoan drop onto Bayley. Those two win. Nia is getting a lot of damn heat, you know, though. It may not have been as much as it was Survivor Series on Raw, but as soon as her music hits, you can actually hear audible boos, and that is such a turnaround from a few weeks ago when her and Tamina became a team and no one made a noise. So I guess WWE's done. Well, they've done well with a bad situation. It's not like they haven't done this before. I know loads of people are saying, oh, this is really what a WWE doing. She punched Becky Lynch in the face. Look, man, Owen Hart broke Steve Austin's neck and came out on Raw the next day with a shirt that said Owen 316 on the back. I just broke your neck. This ain't nothing new. Not saying it's right, but it ain't nothing new. We then got into cheesy territory, but hey, I'm a cheesy dude. I liked it. During a Charlie Caruso interview, Dean Ambrose just appeared magically on a screen and told Seth Rollins to come and get him because they were in the Shield's favourite place. I think this was meant to be a boiler room, but it kind of just looked like a backstage area. Anyway, that pissed Seth Rollins off. He was like, oh, I'm going to find my ex-best friend and I'm going to beat him up. But instead, he found a door, and on the door it just said, burn it down, which if you don't know, is Seth Rollins' catchphrase, and also insinuated to me that Dean wanted to set Seth Rollins on fire and murder him. A massive down now though, and in fact a brown down, which is ironic because what came next was all about piss. Brown down. You already know what this was. A bunch of wrestlers insulted Drake Maverick because at the pay-per-view 24 hours ago, he had weed his pants. And this was so awful, it made me want to turn off my television, which is why last night on Survivor Series Ups and Downs, I got so angry about it. Some people actually got annoyed about this too. They're like, oh, WWE does this stuff all the time. It doesn't matter. Are you kidding me? I stand by my argument. I'm saying it just to draw a line in the sand. Just imagine, please imagine. You tried for years, for months, for weeks, whatever, to get someone to come around your house and watch WWE TV, and maybe they went to Survivor Series and you're like, oh no, that was just a little thing for the pay-per-view crowd. Don't worry that he wet himself. And then the next night they're doing it again. It was awful. The jokes were written by a child, and if I was in that situation I just described, I'd rip my own arm off so I could beat myself up before somebody else did it for me. On top of that, this was just a bunch of guys bullying Drake Maverick, and I thought WWE was meant to be anti-bullying, so the whole thing was a pile of crap, and I hated it. I genuinely hated this. It made me want to get my head and stick it into my sofa cushions just so I didn't have to watch it anymore. I mean, turning off would have been easier, as whatever, doesn't matter. Another down too, because the Lucha House Party then beat the Revival as if they were nothing, which gives you a good reason to go watch my recent video, why the Revival will leave the WWE down. They fought under Lucha House Party rules, which is just those three get to be in the ring whenever they want. The Revival clearly had no clue about this because they were confused, and eventually Dorado pinned Dash Wilder after a shooting star press. Raw became a pantomime after this, but it was fun. I like pantomime. Not true, I hate it, I think it's terrible, but still up. As Rollins cut another backstage promo saying that Dean had gone too far, and he wasn't wrong, he absolutely had, Ambrose appeared behind him as the crowd all basically shouted, oh, Seth, he's behind you, turn around, ha ha ha, lol lol lol. Titus O'Neil even appeared to tell Seth that your new arch nemesis was right behind you, and then of course, because we are watching something that's farcical, Rollins ran off in the wrong direction. And another up because I like the Ronda Rousey promo, mostly up. The most interesting part is that she once again received a mixed reaction. I think it's twofold. One, everyone just loves Becky Lynch now, so if you're not Becky Lynch, they're going to boo you. But two, I don't think saying all that stuff about the millennial man helped at all, because that word millennial, well, that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Anyway, she is going to face Nia Jax at TLC, and she understands what a hurdle that is going to be to try and overcome. But the thing here was, a lot of her verbiage was really strange. Like, it's clearly how she talks, but how she talks, well, it's just really odd. The bottom line is, though, is that she's a fighting champion and she wants a title match, right now. Baron Corbin came out and said that's not going to happen. So Ronda Rousey was like, all right, Baron, I'll fight you instead. And can you imagine if we saw that? Everybody would love it. Clearly Corbin, being the cowardly heel, didn't want to do it. So Ronda Rousey instead fought Mickie James. Beat her in around about 2 minutes. There was a terrible bit afterwards where Tamina and Nia Jax confronted Rousey, and Nia Jax pretended to punch her. And again, I don't understand these two. I don't want to see him on my television no more. Down. Bizarrely, the AOP then lost to Chad Gable and Bobby Roode in what felt like seconds. Down. I don't get this. The AOP, the new tag team champions, needed to carry on the momentum they picked up at Survivor Series where they beat the Bar, but instead Chad Gable just rolled up Akam, and that was that. I wouldn't mind this if Chad and Bobby actually get pushed, but they don't. Sometimes they're on top of the world, and other times they're being eaten alive by Braun Strowman in Battle Royals to determine who's going to become the captain for the Survivor Series team that happened on the pre-show. It really does feel like right now WWE has lost all ideas with their tag team division, and as Xavier Woods himself said on Twitter, you better sort that out because it's a division that's worth saving. And it's another down because maybe we did just one too many segments between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. That's the problem with having a 3-hour Raw. Sometimes you overbook. Down. Ambrose was talking again this time, but he was saying things like he's gonna crush Seth Rollins' bones like he's Skeletor or something, and that the fans smell. Also used the phrase burn it down in a sentence that nobody in the real world would ever actually let leave their lips, and throughout all of this, Seth Rollins left the arena because he was like, look, Dean ain't gonna let me find him, we're not gonna fight tonight, I'm gonna go on to the next town, and I'll see Dean Ambrose at TLC. Didn't say it through his teeth, I just did that, and who knows why I did. I wanted to sound more angry. For some reason, teeth speech makes you sound more enraged. Natalya then beat all the Riot Squad, basically. I mean, she didn't. She was only taking on Ruby Riott, but this was the big blow-off match after that team had snapped Jim Neidhart's glasses. I don't know, man. It was just there. It was nice that Natty won. She won with a roll-up, which is WWE's new favourite finish. Up, I guess. I mean, yeah, up. We shall end on a high and an up, though, because Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins did peak where it needed to peak, which was the end of the show. Up. Nothing over the top here, and we kept it nice and simple. Dean Ambrose came to the ring for the first time to once again let the crowd know that they smell. He even put a bandana over his nose this time. That was a bit stupid. Before it turned out, Seth Rollins, he had tricked Dean Ambrose. He hadn't gone anywhere. He was just hoping his best friend did something like this, and he ran to the ring and he whooped his ass. It was properly wild for a while too, until the Intercontinental Champion forgot that WWE loves low blows. Dean Ambrose gave him one, kapow, right in his ding-dong, and then he hit him with 2 dirty deeds, meaning the bad guy, who was standing tall as Raw hit those credits. The road to TLC has begun. I think it'll be a decent pay-per-view. And also, if you are wondering, was Brock Lesnar on this show? Even though I swear I saw an advert that said he would be. Nope. No, he weren't. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and feel free to do the Simon Miller weird spin in your own house. My name is Simon Miller. Thank you for watching Ups and Downs, and remember, we've got the quadruple Ups and Downs tomorrow as we do it for SmackDown. I look forward to seeing your smiling faces then, especially as we got to find out what's next for Becky Lynch.